Welcome back to our channel, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Today we're diving deep into the world of British sixpence coins, those tiny silver pieces that once jingled in the pockets of millions across the United Kingdom. But did you know that some of these humble coins are now worth a fortune? In this video, I'll reveal the top 3 rarest British sixpence coins that collectors are willing to pay big money for. We'll explore their fascinating history, the stories behind their designs, and how you can identify if you're holding one of these rare treasures. From the early silver issues to special mint errors, these coins are not just currency, they're pieces of British history. So grab your magnifying glass, get comfortable, and let's uncover the sixpences that could make you rich. Let's get started. Top 1. The 1964 sixpence was struck in cupronickel, a durable alloy of copper and nickel, replacing the earlier silver versions that ended in 1946. This material change reflected the post-war era's economic adjustments, as the UK sought to preserve precious metals for industrial and governmental needs. The coin weighed 2.83 grams, measured 19.41 millimeters in diameter, and featured a milled edge. Despite its modest appearance, its design elements are remarkably intricate and meaningful, showing the artistry of mid-20th century British minting. On the obverse side of the 1964 sixpence, you'll find the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by sculptor Mary Gillick. This iconic image captures the Queen wearing a laurel wreath rather than a crown, symbolizing peace and renewal in the post-war era. Surrounding her profile is the inscription, Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina FD, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This portrait was used from 1953 until 1970, making it one of the most beloved and recognized images in British numismatic history. Turning to the reverse side, you'll see a beautiful floral design created by Reverend Humphrey Paget, one of the Royal Mint's most respected designers. The reverse displays a combination of national floral emblems: the rose for England, the thistle for Scotland, the shamrock for Ireland, and the leek for Wales, all tied together in a single elegant design beneath the royal crown. Around the design are the words, FID Def Sixpence 1964. The use of these national symbols reflected the unity of the United Kingdom and gave the coin a distinct patriotic charm. The 1964 sixpence was one of the last of its kind before decimalisation reshaped British coinage in 1971. It was valued at 6 old pence, which was equal to 1/40th of a pound sterling. Although it was withdrawn from circulation after decimalisation, it continued to be used informally by the public for years, especially because of its association with good luck. Even today, many people still slip a sixpence into Christmas puddings, wedding shoes, or baby cribs for good fortune and prosperity, keeping its charm alive in modern British tradition. Now let's talk about value and collectability. A 1964 sixpence in old circulated condition is quite common, as millions were minted that year. In circulated or old condition, its value typically ranges between 25 cents to $1, depending on its wear, clarity, and visibility of details. However, if you're lucky enough to find one in very fine or uncirculated condition, it could be worth $3 to $10, especially when sold to collectors who appreciate fully detailed examples with little to no wear. While the 1964 sixpence may not be the rarest coin in British numismatics, certain features can add to its desirability. Coins with mint errors such as misaligned strikes, die cracks, or doubling of letters can be highly sought after. Additionally, coins preserved in original mint sets or proof-like condition hold much higher appeal. Collectors also value complete sixpence date runs, so the 1964 issue is an essential piece for anyone completing a Queen Elizabeth II pre-decimal collection. Beyond monetary worth, the 1964 sixpence carries historical and emotional value. It represents a generation of Britons who grew up with pre-decimal coins jingling in their pockets. For older collectors, it sparks memories of post-war Britain, the Beatles' early years, and the excitement of a nation modernizing under a young queen. For younger collectors, it's a window into a time when money was tangible, artistic, and steeped in national identity, a stark contrast to today's digital transactions. Many collectors around the world treasure this coin not just for its numismatic qualities but for its cultural significance. Whether you find it in a family heirloom, a flea market, or an online auction, the 1964 sixpence is a beautiful reminder that even small coins can tell big stories. It's also a great entry point for new collectors looking to start a UK coin collection, as it's affordable, elegant, and full of meaning. Holding a 1964 sixpence is like holding a little piece of Britain's royal and economic history in your hand. So, if you enjoyed learning about the 1964 British sixpence, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on more hidden treasures from the world of coins and currency. I'll be covering many more rare and valuable British coins that could be worth much more than you think. So stay tuned. Share this video with your friends and let's keep the legacy of classic British coins alive. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your next coin find be worth a fortune. Next up. Top 2. The sixpence coin has a history dating back to the reign of Edward VI in 1551, making it one of Britain's oldest denominations. It was commonly referred to as a tanner, a nickname that became part of everyday British speech for centuries. By 1966, the United Kingdom was still using the pre-decimal currency system, where 12 pence made a shilling and 20 shillings made a pound. The sixpence was therefore worth half a shilling, a small but significant coin used in countless daily transactions, from bus fares to sweets. However, the 1966 issue would become one of the last regular sixpences struck before the great change to decimalisation that completely redefined British currency in 1971. The 1966 sixpence features a beautifully intricate design. On the obverse side, it bears the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, showing the young monarch wearing a laurel wreath rather than a crown, a portrait that symbolized youth, peace, and a new era of prosperity following the post-war years. On the reverse, the design by William Gardner displays an arrangement of 4 national emblems: the Rose of England, the Thistle of Scotland, the Shamrock of Ireland, and the Leek of Wales, all intertwined beneath a Tudor crown. This symbolic artwork represented unity across the 4 nations of the United Kingdom, a feature that collectors deeply admire for its beauty and meaning. By 1966, the sixpence was no longer struck in silver. The coin was composed of cupronickel, 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a silvery appearance but without precious metal content. It weighed 2.83 grams and measured 19.41 millimeters in diameter. The Royal Mint produced millions of these coins for circulation, but due to the transition to decimal currency a few years later, many were withdrawn or melted down. Despite being relatively common in circulated condition, uncirculated examples from 1966, especially those kept in mint sets, have become increasingly sought after by collectors who value pristine examples of Britain's last pre-decimal years. The year 1966 was a memorable one in British history. It was the year England won the FIFA World Cup, and a time of cultural revolution led by the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and the swinging 60s movement. The sixpence of that year therefore holds a nostalgic value that goes far beyond its face worth. It represents an optimistic Britain, full of creativity, national pride, and modernization. For many people who grew up in that era, the sight of a 1966 sixpence instantly brings back childhood memories, pocket money, savings jars, and Christmas puddings that traditionally contained a hidden sixpence for good luck. When it comes to value, the 1966 sixpence is not considered rare in general circulation. However, condition makes all the difference. A heavily worn coin may only fetch a few cents or pence, typically between 10 cents to 30 cents USD. But in uncirculated or brilliant uncirculated condition, the value can rise significantly, ranging from $3 to $10 depending on the coin's luster and eye appeal. Coins preserved in original mint sets or proof sets can even fetch up to $15 or more, especially if they show no signs of tarnish or handling. Collectors value these coins for their clean strike, sharp details, and the historical year they represent. Beyond its modest monetary value, the 1966 sixpence carries tremendous sentimental and symbolic value. Many families across Britain used to place a sixpence coin in a Christmas pudding as a charm for good fortune in the coming year. Brides would also traditionally slip a sixpence into their shoe on their wedding day for luck. A custom still remembered today in the phrase, something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, and a sixpence in her shoe. These cultural traditions keep the sixpence alive not just as a collectible coin, but as a symbol of British folklore and family heritage. When compared to earlier sixpence issues from the 1940s or the 1950s, the 1966 version may not be as valuable in pure silver content, but it holds greater historical relevance as one of the final circulating designs before decimalization. The last sixpence issued for circulation was in 1967, with some 1970 dated coins struck only for collector sets. Therefore, the 1966 sixpence stands right at the edge of a major historical transition, making it an essential piece for anyone building a complete set of Elizabeth II pre-decimal coins. It bridges the old British monetary system with the modern one we know today. If converted directly, a sixpence was equal to 1/40th of a pound, which today would be roughly $0.15 in spending power. But, of course, collectors don't buy coins for face value. The true worth lies in its numismatic and historical significance. When buying or selling a 1966 sixpence, always check for condition, mint shine, and storage. Coins kept in airtight capsules or original sets will maintain their value far better than those left exposed. It's also worth noting that 1966 sixpences can make great starter coins for new collectors, as they're affordable yet historically rich. So, whether you're holding a 1966 sixpence as a family keepsake, a nostalgic reminder of Britain's past, or a shiny collectible in your coin album, it truly represents a small yet powerful piece of history. From its beautiful design to its connection with the final years of pre-decimal currency, this little tanner carries stories of national unity, craftsmanship, and tradition. If you enjoyed learning about the history and value of the 1966 British sixpence, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive into rare and fascinating coins from around the world. Drop a comment below. Do you own a sixpence from 1966? I'd love to hear your stories. Next up. Top 3. The sixpence coin was first introduced during the reign of King Edward VI in 1551, making it one of the longest-running denominations in British coinage history. Over the centuries, it became deeply ingrained in British culture and everyday language. People used to say things like, "I haven't got a tanner," meaning they were short on cash. By the 1960s, the coin was still widely used for small purchases and even carried sentimental value. It was often placed in Christmas puddings for good luck and in wedding shoes for brides as a token of prosperity. The 1967 issue represents the final regular mintage of this iconic coin before the currency system changed forever. Now let's talk about the design. The obverse, or head's side, features the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This design was introduced in 1953, shortly after the Queen's coronation, and shows her uncrowned, symbolizing a fresh, modern monarch entering a new Elizabethan age. The reverse side, designed by heraldic artist William Maving Gardner, is beautifully detailed with a floral motif, combining the rose of England, the thistle of Scotland, the shamrock of Ireland, and the leek of Wales, symbolizing unity among the four nations of the United Kingdom. The words sixpence and the year 1967 complete the design, with a charmingly traditional touch. In terms of metal composition, the 1967 sixpence is made of cupronickel, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Earlier sixpences, before 1947, were made of silver, but due to post-war economic changes, the Royal Mint transitioned to cheaper base metals. The coin weighs about 2.83 grams, has a diameter of 19.41 millimeters, and features a milled edge. Despite its modest size, its production quality and detailed craftsmanship make it a lovely collectible item, especially for those interested in mid-20th century British coinage. Now, regarding mintage and rarity, the 1967 sixpence was actually produced in very large numbers. Over 240 million coins were struck. This was partly because it was the last year of issue, and the Royal Mint wanted to ensure enough sixpences were available for circulation before decimalization began in 1971. As a result, most 1967 sixpences are not considered rare in circulated or average condition. However, uncirculated examples, proof-like specimens, or those in original mint sets are much more sought after by collectors and can fetch higher prices in today's numismatic market. So, what is a 1967 British sixpence worth today? In good circulated condition, which means it shows noticeable wear but all details are still visible, the coin's value typically ranges from 20 pence to 50 pence GBP, or roughly 25 cents to 60 cents USD. In very fine to extremely fine condition, values can reach $1 to $2, while uncirculated or brilliant uncirculated coins can be worth anywhere between $3 and $8 depending on the quality and eye appeal. Proof coins or those in mint sets might go for $10 to $15 or slightly more to the right collector. While not an extremely valuable coin in terms of dollars and cents, the 1967 sixpence carries immense historical and emotional value. It represents Britain's final chapter of pre-decimal coinage before the introduction of new decimal coins in 1971. For many older generations, it evokes fond memories of childhood, pocket money, and a simpler time before the changeover. That nostalgia, combined with its beautiful design and cultural importance, makes it a timeless piece in any coin collection. Another fascinating point is how these coins are often used in jewelry and crafts. Because the 1967 sixpence was the last of its kind and features such an elegant design, it's commonly set in pendants, cufflinks, keychains, and even wedding keepsakes. The phrase "something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue," and "a sixpence in her shoe" remains a popular wedding tradition in the UK, keeping this little coin's legacy alive even today. Its affordability also makes it a perfect starter coin for young collectors learning about British monetary history. Collectors should be aware of condition grading when evaluating the 1967 sixpence. A coin described as being in good condition, like the one we're discussing today, usually shows clear signs of wear. The finer details of the design, especially on Queen Elizabeth's hair or the floral motifs, may appear smoothed out. However, if the coin retains decent definition and has no major scratches, dents, or discoloration, it still holds collectible appeal, especially if part of a full pre-decimal set. Storing the coin in a protective holder helps preserve its surface and prevent tarnishing. Before we wrap up, if you're passionate about coin collecting, British history, or just love learning about the fascinating stories behind everyday objects, make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. I post detailed videos every week about rare coins, hidden treasures in your change, and the true value behind historic pieces like the 1967 sixpence. Drop a comment below letting me know if you have this coin, and whether you remember using the old tanner back in the day. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep collecting, keep learning, and may your next find be a rare one.